disruptive.
America that I fought.
Weird thing to happen. Hello, one and all. Welcome to this edition of Kitz Corner. Hope you're having a fantastic day. And we're continuing on this conversation about Canada's basically takeover of your finances through digital currency, the central bank digital currency that they're trying to offer to people, and say that it's not going to take control over you. It's about convenience, and they're trying to advertise it that way. That's why they have the Bank of Canada doing these run-of-the-mill advertisements to tell the people, how do you feel about this? So you don't have to decide now, but eventually you're gonna have no choice. Just going down this rabbit hole and just how insanely Orwellian this is really getting to. Because while they're trying to promote convenience and accessibility and how it's going to be easier in this, crazy technological world, people don't realize behind closed doors just how nefarious it is and how it's going to take over your liberty and your independence of your own finances, how it's going to be subjugated towards and dictated off towards the government deciding your purchases, deciding what you use your money for. And that's how it's going to be more convenient for them and how it's going to screw you in the outcome. So I want to show this because they did like an explanation video, the Bank of Canada, on exactly what this Canadian dollar entails. And like I said, they're continuing to do these run-of-the-mill advertisements that make it so happy-go-lucky and like, oh my God, it's just so convenient, so beneficial for people. And you don't have to sign up right away, but eventually every single institution is coming towards this consensus. Like big banks right now, TD, CIBC, RBC, Desjardins, like all these big institutional banks, Bank of Montreal, Scotiabank, are going down this direction. So really, it's not even about the choice anymore. So people spouting their opinions and saying that, oh, you don't have to decide right now. It's already happening. It's already happening, and they're going to continue down this rabbit hole unless someone actually deliberately goes against this. So here's the video that they're trying to pitch towards people about digital currency.
How Canadians pay for everyday things is changing. Some are using less cash in favor of other payment methods. To keep up with the changing ways that people pay, the Bank of Canada is exploring a digital Canadian dollar, also known as a central bank digital currency. Simply put, this would be a digital version of cash, but it wouldn't replace cash. It would have the same dollar value, and it would be accessible to anyone and everyone.
That is a complete, utter lie. That is a complete, utter lie. And I'll show it to you because as the motivations, as the Atlantic Council puts it, the motivation behind Canada's, surgence towards digital currency, as said in the Bank of Canada's 2020 paper, is to get us away from cash. They want to create a cashless society and would make it the use of the Canadian dollar in its physical form limited. And the possibility of the Canadian dollar facing competition from an alternate digital currency. So cash is going to be faded away thanks to the Bank of Canada's surgency into this digital nightmare. So that is an outright lie that they're promoting right there.
You could use this digital Canadian dollar to buy everyday things, just like you use cash or a bank card, but it would be different. Unlike cash, you wouldn't need to carry multiple bills or change.
That's why people have bank cards. That's why people have debit cards. Like, again, this wasn't a problem. This was not a problem that people were concerned that we need to make things, simpler and easier. There was already ways to make transactions. Nobody had any problems with making transactions until this came around. And this is proposed by the Bank of Canada, by the, federal institutions, by the surveillance state, by the Canadian government to, again, dictate over your finances. This is not making things easier because we already had things easier. There was no problem. They didn't have to make this problematic.
Like a bank card, it would work for both in-person and online purchases. Similar to banknotes, it could possibly still be used when the internet is not available. Just like the cash in your wallet, it wouldn't earn interest. But it would be secure and private. You could keep your digital dollars securely on a phone, a card, or another device. At this point, at the Bank of Canada, we're still studying the possibility of issuing a digital Canadian dollar and how it might work. Tell us what you think about a digital Canadian dollar by taking part in our public consultation.
So the reason that they're promoting all these advertisements is, again, to get people talking about this, and then they say that you could take a survey for their feedback. But like I said, no matter what they say, that this is just, a trial run, or whether it's just, it's a choice of the matter, you don't have to go down this direction. It's eventually happening. Because our overlords, the people at the World Economic Forum, the big globalist bankers of the world, are declaring this. And it's already happening in other countries. It's happening in the UK. It's, talked about in the United States. It's happening here in Canada. It's happening in Australia. It's happening all around the world. That they're going down this direction, going down this Orwellian financial digital hellscape that's going to screw over more people than it is going to help secure your finances. That was basically a fabricated lie, what you just saw there. All the points that they made are fabricated lies. It's to replace the cash. It's to replace tangible finances in order to have a surveillance tracking system on you, dictating over your purchases, over your finances, so they can tell you what to pay for, what not to pay for, who you're donating your money to, who you're giving your money to, whether it's acceptable in Canadian society. And I just want to remind people that they've already done this before. So this is going to be an easier gateway for the Canadian government, for the Bank of Canada, for all these big giant corporations and the big banks to dictate even more of your finances. The money that you earn, that the money you keep, the money that you are responsible for, that's now going to go towards them. It's not convenient for them. It's not convenient for you. It's convenient for them. Because they can dictate and freeze your bank accounts. They can decide what you're purchasing for. If you're not acceptable in society, they can decide to pull out your money, pull out your assets, pull out everything that you earned. They can dictate over your individuality. They can dictate over your freedoms and liberty moving forward with this. And this is being implemented all around the world thanks to, globalist nightmare leaders like Justin Trudeau and the World Economic Forum and big financial institutions, BlackRock, all these, digital tech giants, the people that meet at Davos and discuss the, well-being of society and how we need to control and manipulate the general public. This is how they're going to do it. Because there was no problem with transactions. There was nothing wrong with people using bank cards and cash before until we had this conversation. And now they're trying to manipulate people that this is going to be a simpler solution as they hide behind closed doors, deciding the fate of our bank accounts, deciding the fate of our finances. That is how evil, notorious, Orwellian, dystopian this all is. And this is how the Canadian government can dictate over your individuality of your finances. Just like with the digital IDs. It is just about control. It's about authoritarian measures. It's about overseeing what the general public and dictating what the general public does. And as private citizens, we cannot allow this. Because they're the ones keeping their privacy, but we're the ones getting exposed. It should be the other way around because they're public servants. We're private citizens. And they have no right to dictate over what we do with our finances. Because that is our money. That is our money. And the job of a bank is supposed to protect that money for my interest, not theirs. but not with the digital currency, because that is what the measures that they're imposing to the general consensus of Canada. And people need to wake up and rise up against this.